Imagine the lurid titles in bold red dripping. Hammer Horror presents The Curse of the Arpathian Lapisa. We pan slowly through a creaking Kremlin corridor. A portrait of Lenin glowers. The wind howls, despite there being no windows open. And then, like a heroine in a well-worn Hammer plot, VIKTOR Orbán approaches a door that she has been repeatedly told not to open. Behind it is the monster. He knows the rules. Every NATO ally shouted, "For the love of God, Victor, do not touch that handle." Brussels scribbled warnings in holy water. Even Washington, with Trump now playing both Van Helsing and Count Dracula, depending on the hour, told him there are some lairs you avoid, but like the foolish character who climbs the staircase, the haunted staircase, rather than running outside to the village pub, up he goes. The camera tracks his feet on the steps. The music by James Bernard, probably reminiscent of Taste the Blood of Dracula, or Tristram Carey, maybe with thinking of the Curse of the Mummies, Tomb, Oliver Reed there in Curse of the Werewolf, composed by Benjamin Frankel, is there as the audience screams, "Don't do it!" He opens the door, and there sits the crypt's resident horror, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin. Not Bela Lugosi elegance, nor Christopher Lee menace, but a waxy simulacrum who has been preserved in the freezer too long. A smeg relic, an effigy in humanoid form, sustained chiefly by oil, gas, and sycophancy. A lot of rubbing with olive oil. You half expect Peter Cushing to sweep into the room as Doctor Who, yes, twice on film, holding a sonic screwdriver and shouting, "Exterminate!" at a Dalek shaped like a Russian autocrat. Orbán smiles. The monster smiles back. Cue the lighting. He calls it peace diplomacy. It looks more like stroking the werewolf, and hoping he doesn't bite. I hope stroking the werewolf isn't an inappropriate thing to say. Orbán insists he is on the side of peace. Yet he meets the man who has turned Ukraine into a battlefield of ghosts, and he does this days before pivotal talks led by the United States. NATO allies watch the broadcast like fans of the Plague of the Zombies watching a villager wander into the churchyard at midnight. Here comes the neck-biting. The horror cliches stack up. There is the familiar bargain with dark forces. Hungarian energy security in exchange for moral decay. It sounds like Dracula AD 72. Hungary now relies on Russian oil and gas at levels that resemble a vampire's dependency on type O negative. Brussels demands clean energy independence by 2027. Orbán would rather cling to the Gothic castle and its crypt full of barrels marked property of the Kremlin. Then the political stakes. Orbán faces elections where, for the first time in ages, he might actually lose. What better way to revive his power than to host a grand Budapest peace summit starring Trump and Putin? The Hammer billing writes itself. Bride of Frankenstein meets the man who wouldn't leave the castle. A diplomatic triumph could help him swagger back from the brink like a resurrected mummy. And, of course, Putin plays along. Doesn't he just play along? He lavishes praise on the brave Hungarian who dares the castle gates, encouraging nationally oriented forces across Europe to rise again. It's like Dracula applauding Renfield for bringing a fresh delivery of flies. What makes the scene truly chilling is that everyone can see the trick. Everyone can see the strings. Putin offers no peace. His demands remain maximalist and grotesque, like a vampire insisting that the cure for anemia is more biting. Orbán pretends the monster is misunderstood, that this is a pragmatic conversation about heating bills. This is Dr. Phibes rises again, but in a Hammer production, the household that bargains with evil always ends up losing more than it saves. It gets underneath the rim. There is one moment in these films where the heroine sees the monster clearly. The fangs gleam, the illusion drops. Here, the liminal moment was the handshake itself. The world watched Orbán cross from ordinary mischief into outright collusion as he fingers Putin. He opens the forbidden door. He fingers the ancient horror. He smiles for the camera while doing it. "Oh, I'm fingering the president." Cue the final scene, and village elder, played by the European Commission, mutters, "He's angered the beast and endangered us all." More stroking of the werewolf. Cut to Putin, staring into the lens like a Dalek with a nuclear arsenal. "Exterminate!" Well, he keeps trying. He should probably go back to the Smeg fridge and get out the milk. If this script follows Hammer tradition, there will eventually be a reckoning, because audiences know the rule. When someone treats the monster as an ally, the sequel will always be bloodier.